The phone vibrated against Maya Ellison's apron just as she lifted a silver soup tureen. St. Agnes Hospice flashed across the screen. Maya's breath stopped. Her mother had not spoken clearly in 3 days. She set the tureen down and reached for the call. Audrey Kline snatched the phone first. "Staff do not answer personal calls during dinner service." "Please," Maya said. "My mother is dying." Audrey glanced at the guests gathering beneath the chandelier, then smiled as if Maya had made a joke. "Everyone's mother dies eventually." She pressed decline. Before this final call exposes a 20-year secret, subscribe and tell us where you are watching from, because Audrey has silenced the wrong woman. Maya stared at the dark screen. "Give it back. You can have it after dessert." "The hospice only calls when they need attention," Audrey interrupted. "And tonight, your attention belongs here." Maya reached for the phone. Audrey stepped away and slipped it into her jeweled handbag. Then it rang again. St. Agnes Hospice. Maya heard the faint vibration from inside the bag. Audrey laughed softly. Persistent. She turned the phone off. Maya's hands began shaking. For 7 months, Maya had worked at Whitmore House because its insurance paid part of her mother's hospice bills. Audrey knew dismissal meant losing housing too. That knowledge had become her favorite weapon. Extra shifts whenever Maya requested hospital visits. Unpaid deductions for imagined stains. Threats to report her as unreliable if she spoke to billionaire Theo Whitmore directly. Theo had been in Singapore for 2 weeks. Audrey had used his absence. "Carry the soup," she ordered. Maya did not move. Audrey leaned closer. "Walk away from this table, and I cancel your mother's insurance authorization before midnight." She lifted the tureen. By the time the first course ended, Maya's phone had rung 4 more times. Each time, Audrey watched the handbag shake and smiled. At 8:17, it stopped. Maya felt the silence before she understood it. The head server entered from the corridor, pale and breathless. "Maya," St. Agnes called the house line. Maya dropped the serving spoon. Audrey blocked her path. "Finish the table. My mother may be gone. And embarrassing me will not bring her back." A man's voice came from the doorway. "Move away from her." Theo Whitmore stood beneath the arch, snow still melting on the shoulders of his coat. Audrey's face changed instantly. "You came home early. I heard enough." He crossed the room and looked at Maya. "Go to the hospital. My driver will take you." Audrey caught his arm. She abandoned service in front of donors. She was trying to answer her dying mother. "She is manipulating you." Maya looked at Audrey's handbag. "My phone is inside." Theo held out his hand. Audrey hesitated. That hesitation told him more than any explanation. "Give it back." She removed the phone and placed it in his palm. The screen was black. Maya pressed the power button. 6 missed calls appeared. 1 voicemail. Time received, 8:16. Maya's thumb hovered above it. She was afraid of hearing her mother die. Theo lowered his voice. "You do not have to play it here." Audrey reached for the phone. "It may contain private medical information." Maya pulled it away. "Now you care about privacy." She pressed play. At first there was only weak breathing. Then Maya Ellison's voice emerged, fragile but urgent. "Maya, listen carefully. Do not trust the woman marrying Theo." Every face in the dining room turned toward Audrey. The voicemail continued. "She came to my room yesterday. She asked where I hid the blue account book. I told her I burned it." Audrey's expression emptied. Maya gripped the phone tighter. "I lied," Lillian whispered. "It is inside the hem of your first uniform. The same uniform I wore at Whitmore House 20 years ago." Theo stepped closer. "Your mother worked here?" Maya nodded slowly. "She said she cleaned offices before I was born." Lillian coughed. "The book proves why Theo's mother disappeared. Audrey knows I saw her leave this house alive." Theo went still. Helena Whitmore vanished after a car fire 18 years earlier. No body was recovered. The recording crackled. "If I do not survive tonight, Tell Theo the fire started after Helena found the payroll transfers. Tell him his father did not act alone. A door slammed somewhere upstairs. Maya turned toward the staff wing. Audrey moved first. She ran from the dining room. Theo ordered security after her, then looked back at Maya. "Where is your first uniform?" "In my room." They reached the staff corridor seconds later. Maya's door stood open. Her wardrobe had been emptied across the floor. The old black and white uniform lay near the window, its hem cut apart. The blue account book was gone, but a single page remained beneath the bed. Maya picked it up. It listed payments from Whitmore Holdings to Kline Medical Services, Audrey's family company. Beside the final transfer, Lillian had written one sentence. Helena was kept alive because only she could reverse the payments. Theo read it twice. Then Maya's phone rang again. The hospital number filled the screen. She answered. A nurse was crying. "Maya, your mother is missing from her room." Behind the nurse's voice, Audrey whispered into the call. "Bring Theo to the abandoned Whitmore clinic before midnight, or your mother's final breath will happen because of you." Maya held the phone so tightly her fingers hurt. "Where is my mother?" Audrey's voice came through the hospital line, calm and amused. "Bring Theo to the abandoned Whitmore clinic. No police. No security. Bring the page from the blue account book." Theo took the phone. "If Lillian is harmed, there will be nowhere you can hide." "You still think this is about hiding?" Audrey replied. "Your family built everything by deciding whose suffering remained invisible. Tonight, you finally see the foundation." The call ended. Theo looked at Maya. "We are not following her instructions blindly. My mother may not survive another hour." "I know." "No, you do not. You lost your mother years ago. I am losing mine now." He nodded. "Then we make sure you do not lose her because I moved too slowly." Theo ordered security to contact police quietly and trace the call. Maya changed shoes while the housekeeper found her coat. Inside the torn uniform, Maya discovered something Audrey had missed. A strip of blue fabric remained beneath the collar. Words were written across it. "The clinic has 2 entrances. Use the laundry tunnel." Theo studied the message. Your mother expected this. She expected someone to come for the book. They drove toward the abandoned clinic while security followed at a distance without headlights. The building stood beyond the old Whitmore textile district, its windows boarded beneath falling snow. Maya pointed toward a brick laundry building behind it. "There." They entered through a broken delivery door and found an iron hatch beneath a folding table. Blue thread had been tied around its handle. A service tunnel descended beneath the courtyard. The air smelled of rust and old antiseptic. Theo used his phone light as they moved. "Why would your mother know these tunnels?" "She told me she cleaned offices." "She may have done more than clean." At the first junction, they found a wheelchair. Fresh blood marked one armrest. Maya touched it. "It is hers." A hospital blanket caught beneath the wheel read Lillian Ellison. Footprints continued toward the east wing. A door slammed ahead. Maya ran. Theo caught her before she crossed a thin wire stretched across the corridor. A metal tray of glass bottles hung above them. "If you hit that wire, the bottles fall." Maya examined the labels. Sedatives. This place was prepared. They stepped over it and reached the old treatment ward. Lillian lay behind a locked glass door, oxygen tubes beneath her nose. Her eyes opened when she saw Maya. "Mama." Maya pulled the handle. Locked. Lillian pointed toward the wall. A panel displayed. "Account verification required." Theo tried his corporate code. Rejected. Maya placed the surviving ledger page against the scanner. Accepted. The door opened. She rushed to her mother. Lillian's skin felt cold. "I thought I missed your final call." "You heard me," Lillian whispered. That mattered. Theo checked the oxygen tank. Someone lowered the flow. He restored it. Lillian looked at him. "You have Helena's eyes." Theo froze. "You saw my mother after the fire?" "I helped her escape it." Before he could ask more, the ward lights turned on. Audrey stood behind the observation window, holding the blue account book. "You always loved dramatic reunions," she said. 2 private guards appeared at the doors. Theo moved in front of Maya and Lillian. Audrey opened the ledger. "This book lists payments moved from Whitmore employee medical funds into clinics owned by my family. Helena discovered the transfers and planned to expose them. My father approved them?" Theo asked. "Your father designed them?" Lillian shook her head. "No. Conrad discovered them after Audrey's father began stealing. He tried to stop it." Audrey's smile vanished. "You still protect him." "I protect the truth." Theo looked between them. "What happened the night of the fire?" Lillian removed a small cassette from beneath her blanket. "Helena recorded everything." Audrey pressed a button. The oxygen alarm began beeping. Lillian's flow dropped. "Give me the cassette," Audrey ordered. Maya held it behind her back. "Restore her oxygen." "First the cassette." Theo glanced at the controls. The system required a keycard held by one guard. Maya noticed a mop bucket beside the door, its water streaked with disinfectant. Her mother had taught her that concentrated cleaner could damage old magnetic strips. Maya kicked the bucket. Water soaked the guard's boots. He stepped back, and his keycard fell. Theo grabbed it. The card had been splashed. He wiped it and inserted it into the panel. The system sparked, then released manual control. Theo restored the oxygen. Lillian breathed deeply. Audrey struck the glass. "You think saving one woman changes anything?" Maya looked up. "It changes everything to the woman breathing." Audrey ordered the guards forward. One reached for Maya. Theo struck his arm away. The second pulled a baton, but Lillian pressed a switch beneath the bed. Emergency shutters dropped between the ward and the guards. Audrey was trapped behind the glass. Maya stared at her mother. "You knew that switch was there. I worked here before you were born." "As what?" Lillian looked at Theo. "Helena and I were payroll investigators." Theo went still. "You were investigating my family?" "We were investigating Audrey's father and anyone who helped him." Lillian handed Theo the cassette. "Your mother survived because the fire was staged. We needed everyone to believe she was dead while she gathered proof." "Where is she now?" Audrey laughed behind the glass. "Tell him." Lillian closed her eyes. "Helena returned 3 years ago. She believed she had enough evidence to clear Conrad and expose the Kline clinics." "What happened?" "She disappeared inside Whitmore House." Theo stared at her. "My mother has been inside my home. Not the rooms you use." Lillian pointed toward the ledger. "Open the section marked household meals." Maya took the book after Theo opened the observation booth. One section listed meal trays delivered nightly to room H18. The final delivery had been signed yesterday. Recipient, Helena Whitmore. Theo looked at the address. H18 is not a room number. Maya remembered the old dining hall. 18 brass hooks lined its wall where servants once hung warming covers. "Hook 18, she said. Audrey stopped laughing. Theo saw her reaction. "What is behind it?" Audrey said nothing. Lillian answered. "A service lift." Theo took the ledger and cassette. "Then we are going home." A gunshot sounded from the tunnel. The security chief's voice came through Theo's earpiece. "Sir, Audrey has more men outside. They blocked the main road." Maya looked toward the laundry tunnel. "There is another way." Lillian caught her wrist. "No. That tunnel leads beneath the old incinerator." Audrey smiled through the glass. "That is where Helena's evidence is waiting." Smoke began entering through the ceiling vents. A recorded voice announced, "Incinerator purge in 10 minutes. Then Audrey lifted Maya's phone and played the voicemail again. This time, another voice could be heard beneath Lillian's breathing. Theo and Maya exchanged a look, realizing the mansion held more prisoners than either family had admitted. A woman whispered, "Maya, when you reach Hook 18, do not let Theo open the lift. I am not the only person they kept alive." Smoke thickened above the treatment ward. Theo wrapped a wet sheet around Lillian while Maya searched for another exit. Audrey stood behind the observation glass as the countdown dropped below 9 minutes. Hook 18, Maya said. The message was meant to send us home. And the warning said not to open the lift, Theo replied. Lillian gripped the cassette. Because the lift is not empty. A metallic knock came from beneath the floor. 3 slow taps. Then 3 more. Maya found a maintenance grill beside the bed. Theo pried it open with the broken keycard. A scarred man in a hospital orderly's uniform looked up from the darkness. Get Lillian out, he whispered. The purge is pumping anesthetic gas into the tunnel. Who are you? Theo asked. Jonas Vale. I worked security for Helena. Lillian closed her eyes with relief. You survived. Barely. The counterweight room is behind the medicine cabinet. Maya pulled the cabinet aside, revealing a narrow door. Audrey struck the glass. You are not leaving with that cassette. Theo stared at her. Why are you still pretending this is about protecting a company? Helena destroyed my family before I understood why. Lillian answered, your father destroyed it when he stole from sick workers. He said Helena forged the records. He lied. The countdown reached 7 minutes. Maya and Theo entered the counterweight room. Rusted chains descended into darkness. A handwheel controlled the emergency shutters. Theo turned it. Nothing moved. Jonas called from below. The brake is locked from the observation booth. Maya looked through the window. Audrey's handbag sat beside her phone. A silver compact reflected a red light beneath the console. She has a foot switch. Theo threw a metal tray through the weakened lower glass. It shattered beside Audrey's shoes. She stepped back. The brake released. Theo spun the wheel. The emergency shutters rose. Jonas climbed through the floor grill as security officers entered from the corridor. Audrey reached for Maya's phone, but Maya took it first. You already stole one final call from me, Maya said. You are not using another. Police restrained Audrey while medics carried Lillian through the laundry tunnel. Jonas led them away from the gas line toward a loading bay. Theo climbed into the ambulance beside Lillian. Maya followed, holding her mother's hand. Jonas sat opposite them. Theo, Helena is alive, but Hook 18 is only the first lock. What is behind it? A private ward inside the original servants' wing. For Helena. For anyone who could prove the Kline transfers. How many? At least 6 when I last saw it. When? 3 years ago, before Audrey's father had me declared dead. Theo stared. Her father died 5 years ago. Jonas smiled bitterly. So did your mother. So did Lillian. Death became paperwork in this family. Lillian's breathing weakened. Maya squeezed her hand. Stay with me. Her mother opened her eyes. Do not let anger make every dead person innocent. What does that mean? Helena helped build the payroll system before she exposed it. Theo went still. My mother helped steal the money. She designed the transfer codes. She believed the funds were temporary loans to save Whitmore Holdings. Jonas looked away. Then she learned Conrad and Malcolm Kline never planned to repay them. Why did she not tell me? Conrad used you as leverage. He said one public accusation would place every transfer under your childhood trust. The ambulance reached Whitmore House. Police had sealed the grounds. Guests remained in the ballroom. Medics took Lillian to a treatment room. Maya wanted to stay, but Lillian held out the cassette. Finish this before they move Helena again. Theo and Maya entered the old dining hall with Jonas and 2 investigators. 18 brass hooks lined the wall. Blue thread circled Hook 18. Maya pulled it. A wooden section slid aside, revealing a service lift. The warning echoed in her mind. Do not let Theo open the lift. Theo reached for the control. Maya stopped him. The voice did not say never open it. It said not to let you open it. Jonas studied the panel. It may read Whitmore blood. Or Whitmore ownership. Maya pressed her staff badge against the scanner. Access denied. Then she remembered the faded employee code on the ledger page. LDT-0712. She entered it. The lift opened. Inside stood 6 meal trays. 5 were empty. 1 held warm soup. A woman's voice came through the speaker. Maya Ellison? Yes. Come alone. Theo stepped forward. No. If Theo enters, the ward seals permanently. Maya entered. Theo caught the door. You do not know who is waiting. Neither did my mother when she answered Helena's call 20 years ago. He released it. The lift descended 4 floors. The doors opened onto a white corridor. Names appeared on 6 doors. Jonas Vale. Lillian Ellison. Helena Whitmore. Conrad Whitmore. Malcolm Kline. The 6th carried Maya's name. She stopped. Her room was already prepared. A childhood photograph hung beside it. Maya stood outside Whitmore House at 6 years old. Someone had watched her most of her life. Helena's door opened. A gray-haired woman stepped out wearing a hospital dress. Maya, she said. You have your mother's courage. Are you Helena Whitmore? Yes. Why did the voicemail warn me not to let Theo open the lift? Because the system would recognize him as Conrad's legal heir and transfer every prisoner to him. He would not know. That is how this family commits crimes. It makes ownership automatic and guilt invisible. Maya held up the cassette. My mother said this contains the truth. Only part. Where is the rest? Helena pointed toward Malcolm Kline's door. He has it. The door opened. Malcolm stepped into the corridor wearing a tailored suit, healthier than any prisoner. He smiled. My daughter was always too emotional. You ordered Audrey to take my phone. I ordered her to retrieve the ledger. She chose cruelty because she enjoyed importance. Did you kidnap my mother? I preserved a witness until she became useful. Helena moved beside Maya. Do not listen. Malcolm raised a tablet. On it, Theo stood in the dining hall while a red bar moved across his image. Whitmore Air recognized. Facility ownership transfer, 64%. Maya looked at Helena. You said the transfer would happen if Theo entered. He did not. Malcolm smiled. He opened the outer door. That was enough. Maya ran to the lift controls. Dead. Every underground door locked. Theo's voice came through the speaker. Maya, can you hear me? Yes. The panel says I own this facility. You have to reject it. There is no rejection button. Malcolm approached the camera. There is one way to cancel inheritance control. Theo must admit publicly that Helena and Conrad stole employee medical funds, surrender Whitmore Holdings, and transfer every asset to Kline Medical. Helena laughed. You want the company. I want what your family used my name to build. Maya looked at the 6 doors. Why is there a room with my name? Malcolm's smile faded. Because Lillian was never the final witness. He unlocked Maya's door. Inside were a hospital bed, a recorder, and photographs of Theo and Maya as children. In one, they stood together at age 7 during a staff picnic. Maya had no memory of meeting him. Helena whispered, your mother removed those memories to protect you. What? Malcolm activated the recorder. A child's voice filled the room. Maya's voice. I saw Mr. Conrad push Helena into the car. Theo saw it too. Then young Theo said, Dad told me Maya dreamed it. Conrad's recorded voice ordered a doctor to sedate both children and alter their files. Maya staggered backward. Theo had not merely inherited the crime. He had witnessed it with her. Malcolm lifted a syringe from the tray. And now the only 2 surviving child witnesses are together again. The facility announcement sounded. Memory restoration procedure ready. Maya studied the syringe label. It was not a memory drug. It was the same cardiac medication listed beside 3 unexplained employee deaths in the blue ledger. Malcolm did not intend to restore anything. He intended to kill her, record a false confession, and blame Theo personally for authorizing the procedure. Theo shouted through the speaker. Do not touch her. Malcolm pressed the syringe against Maya's arm. Sign the transfer, Theo, or Maya remembers everything while her heart is chemically stopped. Malcolm pressed the syringe against Maya's arm. Sign the transfer, Theo. Theo's voice thundered through the speaker. No. Malcolm smiled. Then she dies under your authority. Maya looked at the label once more. Cardiac suppressant. Fast acting. Difficult to reverse without the antidote. She forced herself to stop fighting. Malcolm mistook stillness for surrender. That was his first mistake. Her second job at Whitmore House had been cleaning the old medical cabinets. She knew safety syringes locked when pressure hit the side guard. Maya twisted her wrist, caught the plastic guard with 2 fingers, and snapped it forward. The needle sealed before Malcolm could inject her. He stared at it. Helena struck his arm with the metal recorder. The syringe flew across the floor. Maya drove her shoulder into Malcolm and pushed him against the wall. Above them, Theo shouted, Maya, the transfer is at 82%. Helena opened the recorder's battery compartment. Inside was a small brass key. Conrad made every ownership system answer to one emergency command, she said. What command? The testimony of the harmed employee. Maya took the key. Where? Helena pointed to the room bearing Maya's name. Inside, beneath the hospital bed, Maya found a narrow key slot and a microphone. The screen asked, identify the first unlawful act. Malcolm recovered and grabbed Helena by the throat. Do not answer. Maya looked at the childhood photograph. The first crime was not the forged payroll transfer. It was not the staged fire. It was not even the altered memories. It was the moment powerful adults decided 2 children could be drugged because their truth was inconvenient. Maya inserted the key. Conrad Whitmore ordered a doctor to sedate 2 child witnesses and falsify their medical files. The system paused. Employee testimony accepted. Ownership transfer suspended. Theo exhaled through the speaker. Malcolm shoved Helena aside and lunged toward the microphone. Maya blocked him. He struck her across the face. Before he could hit her again, the door to Jonas Vale's room burst open. Jonas tackled Malcolm from behind. The underground locks released one by one. Theo reached the corridor with investigators and pulled Malcolm away from Maya. Police secured him. Theo looked at Maya's cheek, then at the sealed syringe. Did he inject you? No. He closed his eyes for 1 second. Then Maya pointed toward Conrad Whitmore's door. We are not finished. Inside, they found Conrad alive, connected to monitors. He had suffered a stroke years earlier but remained conscious. A recording device stood beside his bed. Theo faced him. Did you order our memories altered? Conrad blinked once. Yes. Did you help steal employee medical funds? 1 blink. Did Malcolm Kline help you? 2 blinks. No. Helena studied the monitor. He is saying Malcolm did not help him. Malcolm controlled him afterward. Maya opened the blue ledger. A final hidden page named the original architect of the theft. Conrad Whitmore. Malcolm had later expanded the scheme, imprisoned witnesses, and used Audrey to recover the evidence. Theo did not look away from his father. You were not framed. You started it. Conrad blinked once. The confession was recorded in front of investigators. By sunrise, police had removed every prisoner from the underground ward. The 6 surviving prisoners received new identities, independent doctors, housing, and protection from retaliation. Malcolm Kline was charged with kidnapping, attempted murder, unlawful imprisonment, medical fraud, evidence tampering, and conspiracy. Audrey faced charges for kidnapping Lillian, workplace abuse, theft, unlawful surveillance, and helping conceal the ward. Her cooperation after arrest did not erase the call she stole or the threat she made. Conrad survived to face prosecution under medical supervision. Whitmore Holdings entered court-controlled restructuring. Theo refused to protect the family name. He released the ledger, the tapes, and his own altered childhood records publicly. Every stolen medical payment was returned with interest. Former employees received independent legal representation, lifetime treatment, and compensation for wrongful dismissal. Lillian survived. Maya sat beside her hospital bed when she woke after surgery. I thought I lost your last words, Maya whispered. Lillian touched her hand. You answered the call that mattered. Their reunion was not simple. Lillian had hidden the truth, allowed Maya to believe Helena was dead, and carried secrets that shaped both families. They began with honesty instead of instant forgiveness. Helena testified and admitted her role in designing the transfer system before she tried to expose it. Theo stepped down as chief executive until the investigation ended. Maya left domestic service. With restitution money and support from former workers, she opened the Ellison Employee Advocacy Center inside the old clinic. It offered legal help, wage recovery, emergency medical support, and private reporting for household and care workers. Months later, Theo visited carrying Maya's repaired phone. The voicemail was recovered completely, he said. Maya listened. After Lillian's warning came one final sentence. My daughter, never let anyone make your love for me into a weapon. Maya saved the message, then put the phone away. Theo asked, Coffee? 1 cup. No rescue story. No secrets. He nodded. Audrey had taken Maya's phone because she believed a maid's grief could be controlled by a locked screen. Instead, the voicemail reopened a hidden ward, exposed stolen medical funds, restored 2 stolen memories, and brought every buried witness into daylight. Theo heard the voicemail. But Maya answered the truth. And no one ever controlled her silence again.